Jai Krishna, dear devotees. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Pijana Vallabha Girivaradari Pijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Prajajana Jana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabiyare Radha Madhava Kunjabiyare Vallabha Girivardhare Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhare Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Iravanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhu Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Welcome to all the wonderful servants of Sri Sri Radha Damodar online, in person, on the altar. So, on this auspicious disappearance day of the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, I'm humbly requesting all the Vaishnavas to be able to say something that is beneficial and in glorification on this wonderful limb of the Chaitanya tree. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatuttama shloke naishtiki. So we'll be reading from the fifth canto, Fate of Impetus, chapter 19, the description of the island of Jambudvip. These are the last two texts of this chapter. Text doesn't have a purport, so we'll read that as well. Shri Shukovacha Jambudvipasya Charajan Upadvipan Astau Haika Upadishanti Sagaratmajar Ashvaneshwana Imam Mahim Parito Nikanadir Upakalpitan Swarna Prastash Chandra Shukla Avartano Ramanako Mandara Harini Panchajanya Singhalo Lanketi Shri Sri Shuka Uvacha Sri Shukadev Goswami continued to speak. Known as Jambudvipa. Cha also Rajan or King. Padvipan Astau, its subordinate islands. Ha certainly. Eke some. Upadishanti, the learned scholars describe. Atmajai by the sons of Maharaj Sagara. Ashra Anvayachane while trying to find this Mahim tract of land. Paritaha all around. Nikanad bihi digging. Pakal created. That yata as follows. Swarna prastaha Swarna prastaha Chandra Shukla Avartanaha Avartana Ramanakaha Ramanaka Mandara Harinaha Mandara Harina Panchajanyaha Panchajanya Singhalaha Singha Lanka Lanka iti thus. Translation. My dear king, in the opinion of some learned scholars, 8 smaller islands surround Jambudvipa. When the sons of Maharaj Sagara were searching all over the world for their lost horse, they dug up the earth, and in this way 8 adjoining islands came into existence. The names of the islands are Swarnaprastha, Chandrashukla, Avartana, Ramanaka, Mandanya, Singhala, and Lanka. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Karma Purana, there is this statement about the desires of the demigods. Anadikarano devaha swarga stapodbhavam vantantyatma vimoksarta mudre karte. Although the demigods are situated in exalted positions in the heavenly planets, they nevertheless desired to descend to the land of Bharatavarsha on the planet Earth. This indicates that even the demigods are unfit to reside in Bharatavarsha. Therefore, if persons already born in Bharatavarsha live like cats and dogs, not taking full advantage of their birth in this land, they are certainly unfortunate. Evam tava Bharatotama Jambudvipavarsha Vibago Yato Padesham Upavarnita iti. Translation. My dear King Parikshit, O best of the descendants of Bharatavarsha, I have thus described to you, as I myself have been instructed, the island of Bharatavarsha and its adjoining islands. These are the islands that constitute Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So you're hearing from Prabhupada here about the desires of the demigods is that they want to, but they're actually unqualified. This is a statement from the Kurma Purana. So superficially, externally, they appear to be um, they are on a higher rung in terms of development of opulence, and it seems like they're actually more developed, the demigods, but they're seemingly lower planetary system, a lower position, seemingly um, in the 14 planetary systems in the three worlds. So from upper planetary systems, they want to actually come down to the lower rung. This seems contradictory. However, when you think about it, the relative, so Lord Chaitanya, he categorizes all that is to be known in three categories: Sambandha Gyan, Avidya Gyan, and Prayojana. And so Prayojana is the objective of the human form of life, or just life in general. So any sentient being, what is their actual objective? And so when you do the analysis, starting from the lower objective there is just to eat and keep the body fit. But once the eating problem has been resolved, then there's another yearning. So then you go to the pranamaya stage, and that is you want to actually relate with other living entities. You can't just on your own, you want to eat with others. And so you begin to share um, your eating. And then once that has been satisfied, that objective, there's still another yearning. The heart isn't completely satisfied. And so you begin to inquire, why is it that even though I'm eating and I'm eating with others, um, I'm still suffering? I haven't alleviated. I feel I suffer from hunger, I suffer from thirst, my own, they're not satisfied. Even though there's plenty to eat in my house, mosquitoes are biting me. Uh, yeah, there's just different living entities giving me suffering. Why am I suffering? And so enter my level of consciousness. And this is where you begin to inquire about what is actually the objective, higher objective beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So all the physical necessities are satisfied in the Annamaya and Pranamaya stages, but still you're suffering. Still, the heart has a hole in it. And so once you begin to inquire, why is it that I'm suffering? Then the answer is that you're actually not this body. So in the lower stages, you thought the objective was related to this body, but actually, no, the objective is higher. And so once you realize your identity separate from the body, Then you begin to enter into the Sambandha Jnana, where actually, who is my source? Who is the source of all the living entities? Who is the source of activities? Is unfolding these activities called the time factor. Who is the source of this material nature? And so you then see that, yes, there is a singular source, and that singular source has a personality. So you, the source from an aggregate point of view, as the absolute truth, as as a source of all that can be perceived and that which cannot be perceived, all that is manifest and all that is unmanifest. And then as you get more knowledge, then you see, oh, actually, this aggregated source is that is just the separated energy, and the absolute truth, very powerful supreme person. And so then you enter into then there is a desire. Then it's that, okay, the desire to actually serve um, uh, finds shelter. So you can see in the all the other stages of developing one's consciousness, the the desire to serve is manifest, but it, and then once it finds shelter, then there's Jnanamaya, then you progress to the Vijnanamaya. So then you get actually realized knowledge. So now you're beginning to render service to the absolute truth. And by you rendering the service, you are gathering knowledge of Avideya, how to actually serve the Supreme Lord. And so then, as you progress more and more, um, you then see that in this Vijnana Maya platform is that the objective then is to follow one of the residents of Vrindavan, follow the footsteps. So the absolute truth should be shelter for your service attitude. Um, he his original feature is on the banks of the Yamuna Tira Vanachar. So this is his original feature. On that bank, at times he can be seen to be subduing the Kalia uh, serpent with a times he can be seen to be taking lunch with these cowherd boyfriends. And while he goes and searches for the cows that have calves that have wandered off. So as you get more and more, and as you progress more, you see, oh yes, I have to follow an example of one of these devotees. And so then the objective to serve the Supreme Lord by serving one of his devotees. And so the objective in this universe is not actually to accumulate opulence, because that'll not satisfy me. That is just on the level of the pranamaya. These opulences are all external, being able to control, being able to eat lavishly, uh, having essential, being massaged by many servants with the best sleep, um, having great military power, military prowess, and so being able to not only defend, a small home, but you can actually protect a whole country, a whole planet. So the power of the demigods is pretty extensive. The ability to defend the territory, they can see this is all external. The actual objective is this prayojana, how to find supreme shelter for my propensity to serve, and that is by serving the Supreme Absolute Truth. And so the best way to do it is to get rid of all this, to actually become a kinchana. So all these, the facility, the standard of living in Swargaloka, all it is just producing more desire. And these desires are actually making them unqualified to actually take birth in Bharatavarsha because of attachment. So because I'm attached to the standard of living and serving him with gigantic sacrifices, horse sacrifices, this sacrifice. Um, but because I'm attached, I can't actually give it up. I have so many other desires. So I'm serving the master of the sense, my senses, but I'm attached to the paraphernalia and the way in which I'm serving, and therefore that actually disqualifies me, lowering my standard of living, taking birth on Bharatavarsha, so that I can render service in that way. Mm. So we read in the Mother Raja Leela on Tuesday was this was from text 27 about how Krishna, um, Sakama Bhakta, the devotee with all through service makes them Akama. So this is one of the preliminary stages, is that you're in Swarga Loka and you're looking on at the facilities of just direct service. That's all there is. It's very focused. You don't have to be distracted by all sorts of desires. And so Prabhupada here is saying that uh, the demigods nevertheless desired to descend to the land of Bharatavarsha. This indicates that even the demigods aren't fit to reside in Bharatavarsha. So they desire something that have. So we've spoken about this, is that they cannot immediately have. um, in household life as a devotee, and you have so many duties to fulfill, duties to for maintaining your household, for maintaining your children, maintaining your conjugal relationship with your partner, maintaining your aged, taking care of your aged parents, um, of duties, pre-existing duties that come with the art. And so then the devotee, progressive devotee, is seeing, oh, I'm actually just uninterrupted devotional service. They see that these duties, while they serve I'm serving other devotees, but it's mixed. I'm also serving my parents who may not be practicing devotees. And I'm also employed by another master if I'm working a job. So it's all mixed. So the devotee is yearning for where there's no interruption. And so it's a bit like that. The demigods require, being desirous of descending into Bharatavarsha. So the devotees look on the devotees who've retired, or who've gone on to become renunciates, and just 100% focus on the service of the Lord. Difference here is that the devotees who are on the earth planet and who are executing household duties, they are actually destined for that. Very soon it'll come. It's just a few years. Whereas the demigods, they have to wait for thousands of years. Some of them have a lot of karma, good karma, to burn a very long time. Um, But you can see the dynamic of the desires, that seemingly the is in a high position because they have the the opulences, I mean, all the resources to serve the Lord in whatever way. However, there is duties that come, responsibilities that come with that. So it's something to is aspire for is that this the position of being Hakama may appear externally to be a lower position, not having a lot of yeah, being desireless and just focusing on Krishna. So not worrying about your externals like uh, dishonor in this world. You have such a high position, you have this degree, you're working this job, and now you're just living in a temple, scraping poop. Yeah. So it seems, yeah, externally it's a lower position from an external point of view. However, um, so such persons, they are actually unfit to enter in this kind of life. So the way Krishna lives with cows, uh, even though there's the opportunity to live that way, the unfitness is the sakama and the attachment. Mm. So we can see in the life of, actually, let's see, let's read about an example. On yesterday's Ekadashi, it was called Vijay. Let's see. Okay. So here in this, there's like a note. Um, well, it was called Vijay Kadashi because Lord Rama couldn't figure he was in the rasa of being puzzled, enjoying the rasa of trying to solve a problem. When they came ocean with Lakshmana and his monkey army, with Sugriva, they were just trying to figure out how to actually cross the ocean. And so then they were advised that they should go to the ashram of one sage. What was his name? Bakadalbhya Muni. This is the Supreme Lord, but um, just as Sandipani Muni, gave instructions to the Lord, that was the rasa of that exchange and parental affection. And so he instructed the Lord that they should perform a sacrifice, taking a pot and basically creating a deity in that pot and then worshipping this pot for and then they were actually able to build the bridge. So there's a note about the origin of Sugriva. And Sugriva was born of the demigods Surya and Ahalya. So yeah, she was actually the wife of Gautama, the sage Gautama. But it's beautiful that the demigod Surya and Indra, they were completely enamored by her and they were thinking, how can we actually enjoy uh, enjoy her? And so this is the nature of having a demigod body, is that yes, I want to serve the Lord, but oh my God, look at that girl. So they were overcome by lusty desires, so much so that they actually mm, took a vacation from religious principles. A sage is to be respected. He's the advisor of great Kshatriya kings and demigods such as Surya and Indra. However, they proceeded to disrespect Gautama And what they used their mystic power and they basically shapeshifted into Gautama. And so Surya went to the ashram of Ahalya, uh, of Gautama, while Gautama wasn't there, and Ahalya was just there taking care of the household duties. And so he conceived a son uh, in Ahalya. And then Indra, well, I don't know how many years apart, but anyway, Indra also saw, oh, okay, Surya got, um, he achieved his objective, and so let me try the same means. And yes, he also conceived a son in Ahalya. So the son conceived by Surya and the son conceived by Indra was Bali. So this factors, this is an egregious offense that they committed. And so when he saw these two children, um, when she actually gave birth to these two children, Gautama was so disgusted that he cast these boys into the ocean. Because they were born in this way, let them turn into monkeys. And so they got the bodies of Sugriva and Bali. Um, yes, and so this is an example that these demigods, in spite their position and facility for serving the Lord, they can actually commit these egregious offenses. And so this is why Prabhupada is saying, or quoting from the Kurma Purana, that they are unqualified to actually take birth in the land of Bharatavarsha because of such desires. So devotees who are akama, who are completely um, have no material desire, completely pure in heart, and that an example of such a devotee is Sri Isvara Puri. So Sri Isvara Puri was the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. He was the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, the tree that produces the great fruits and mangoes that we enjoy as pure love of God. In the seed was Madhavendra Puri. So I'll read it from here. Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami has described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that the first sprout of the desired tree of devotion was manifested in the person of Sri Madhavendra Puri, and that sprout developed into a sapling in the person of Sri Ishvara Puri. Then in the person of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was also the gardener, the trunk of an enormous tree, the desired tree of devotion. So you'll read in the next few chapters, studying the structure of the universe, you'll hear about gigantic trees. For example, one tree on Kailash. Well, you heard about that in the fourth canto, which is 800 miles wide. Yes. So this tree of devotional service from Lord Chaitanya is actually spread throughout the entire universe. Sri Ishwarapuri appeared in this world on the full moon day of this month of Jesta, of the month of Jesta. He served his guru Sri Madhavendra Puri very faithfully, especially during the end of Sri Puripad's life. So some devotees, some senior devotees, um, who have provided end of life care to another devotee. Um, we've also witnessed it here as well for Prabhu. Uh, that was Dhruva Maharaj Prabhu was giving him the care. That's where you see an Akama Bhakta, devotee who's completely desireless and is simply 100% focused on serving this devotee at the end of life. Um, so death, when you read about how devotees depart from this world and how the principal caregiver, will care for the body of another devotee and being a kinchana, being desireless. And demigods could never do such a thing. Um, Most persons actually can't do this. Most persons, they will hire a nurse, um, or somebody else to actually give that care, of managing the bathing, the evacuation, uh, to be managed. So it's like taking care of a small baby, but this living entity is now in a grown-up body. Most parents, they can take care of a small baby. Most people, when they have babies, they'll take care of their babies. But most people can't take as they would a small baby. And for such that you have to have some semblance of being an Akinchana Bhakta, some semblance of being an Akama Bhakta. So Sri Ishvara Puri showed this in a very luxurious way by serving the seed of this devotional tree, and that was Sri Madhavendra Puri at the end of his life. Wonderfully, in wonderful ways. Sri Puri in his travels to various holy places once came to Sridham Navadvip, where he stayed in the house of Sri Gopinath Acharya. At that time, Sri Nimai Pandit was absorbed in his pastimes of learning. Before Puri entered Nadia in disguise, and thus no one could understand who he really was. That noble-minded gentleman was always opposed to Sri Krishna. He was thus extremely dear to Sri Krishna, and he was an ocean of mercy. No one, however, could recognize him by his dress. By the will of fate, he came to Sri Advaitacharya's house. He came to where Sri Advaitacharya was engaged in worshiping Krishna and quietly sat down there. By his divine luster, one Vaishnava cannot remain hidden from another. In his direction again and again. Finally, he asked him, "But who are you? I have a feeling you are Vaishnav Sannyasi." Sri Ishwarapuri very humbly replied, "I am a low-class Shudra, come to view your lotus feet." Mukunda Datta, who was also present, could also understand that this is a Vaishnav Sannyasi, and thus he contrived to express his voice. He began a kirtan describing Sri Krishna's pastimes. When Sri Ishwarapuri heard that kirtan, he at once fell to the ground, and the earth beneath him became wet with his tears. The devotees present were dumbstruck. "We haven't seen a Vaishnava like this before." Advaitacharya very firmly embraced him. Now everyone could understand that this is Madhavendra Puri's dearmost disciple, Sri Ishwar Puri. Loud shouts of "Hari! Hari!" rose up into the air. Sri Ishwar Puri remained at Navadvip for some days. So in this example, you can see that this episode, this pastime involving Sri Ishwar Puri, that uh, Indra and Surya disguised themselves, went to fulfill their own material desires, their own lusty desires, by taking advantage of Ahalya. Here, Ishwarapuri was disguised because he was Akama, because he was a Kinchana, because he was a great devotee of the Lord. And so he wasn't even trying to show his opulence, having received the from Master Madhavendra Puri. He wasn't trying to show it. And it took Mukundada to actually expose him. And that exposure actually showed his great position as a desireless, completely 100% focused devotee on the serving the lotus feet of the Lord. So on this day of the Tirobhav Titi Mahamotsava Sri Ishvara Puri, we should pray at his lotus feet how we can make progress in transmuting some of our desires, material desires in the heart, feet of Radha Damodar, serving the feet of his devotees. And in this way, we can come closer to becoming Akama Bhaktas, and we come closer to becoming a Kinchana. And the only desire that we should have is to um, serve the Supreme Lord, serve the Guru, life after life. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions, reflections, or contentions? Comment from Yashadev Prabhu. I appreciate your point that the honest householders attain liberation much faster than the demigods. Prabhupada's movement has such power. Indeed. Thank you, Mother Jamba, for coming. The other day, a couple weeks ago, when you were reading the pastimes of Lord Varahadev, it was so wonderful. So I look forward to um, one day you can read another pastime and just bathe us in that luxurious nectar.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhu. I,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
yeah, I don't really have anything to contribute, but I don't want to fail to thank you for a really nice class. You ticked all the boxes. It was very nice, covered all the bases. I appreciate that very much. I always enjoy hearing your classes, and this one was, like all the others, stellar. Well, I thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much for just always being a storehouse of you are the one of the heartbeats of this morning program, Sangha. And so we thank you, Prabhu, for demonstrating that no matter what the condition of the body may be in, we should just go on hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you, Prabhu. Other contributions? Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees, and I wish you a day filled with the mercy of Sri Ishvara Puri. Dirubhav Diti Mahamotsava Sri Ishvara Puri. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Go Pramanandi Haribol.